Dang. I'm sorry. It's from the dollar store. That's insane. Do you know how pigmented this is? I put it on my hand. And like, I can't. That's gonna be my lips. It's gonna be stained. Anyways, I'm mic'd up and let's do part 4 of my Ever After High doll Iceberg that I was doing. It's been a while, but we're back. And maybe I'll finish up my doll Iceberg eventually. Who knows? Probably not. Anyways, let's begin. This is layer 4. I think part 3. Did I say part 4? It's part 3, I think. And it's layer 4. So let's begin with one that I did have to look up because I didn't know. So I'm not 100% if this is what it's referring to, but nonetheless, I'm gonna give what I think it's referring to. It says Guru and Mattel allegations. I literally had to look this up and like could not find what this was referencing. And so here is my assumption is that I feel like it's called Guru, but maybe not. Guru, that Guru, I don't know, is a company cross seas, I'm gonna say, company somewhere, and from what I could find, it was a company that made the Mattel webisodes for Ever After High, and Guru alleged that Mattel never told them that they were canceling Ever After High. So they were like, okay, we're gonna make another episode or webisode, and Mattel didn't like answer, and like they never got like a confirmation from Mattel, so Mattel just kind of ghosted them. That's what I found, and if that's true, Mattel kind of sucks because I feel like that's something that you gotta do, even though they're like short webisodes. First of all, somebody needs to bring that, like, hire that company in to continue to make Ever After High episodes because I loved the little cute short 5-minute webisodes from both Ever After High and Monster High. I thought those were so fun. But yeah, that's honestly terrible if that's what it's referencing, because I feel like that's something Mattel would do though. Anyways, the Evil Queen Cursed Wonderland. That's true. If you don't know, it's in the books too, because in the books, the second book, there's the Jabberwocky. Is that what it's called? Am I referencing that? Doesn't that come to Ever After High? I think. I don't remember actually, now that I think about it. But anyways, the whole like wishing spell, whatever they're called, in I think it's Way to Wonderland and stuff, it's referenced in some of the different episodes. Is the only connection, and you can't you not get through them? I'm not sure actually. Briar throws a book into the wishing well, and that's the only way to get to Wonderland, because I think, I'm not 100% sure how that works actually, because the Evil Queen cursed Wonderland, so like it like closed the portal, right? And that's what I assume it means by cursing Wonderland, is you can't get there. So that's why Madeline Hatter, the Mad Hatter, Kitty Cheshire, Lizzie, like fled Wonderland when it closed up, and then eventually Alistair and Bunny make it to Ever After High through the wishing well. Wishing spell? What's it called? Is it called a wishing well? I don't know. I get all confused with all the random words that they place in, and I start to make up my own. Anyways, but they were in Wonderland and they were stuck. They couldn't get there. So like Lizzie Hartz wasn't able to see like her mom and stuff. Correct. I don't know. Briar will lose her friends. This is kind of goes with the last layer, which was Briar will sleep for 100 years. Yeah, so Briar is gonna sleep for 100 years. Because she is the daughter of Sleeping Beauty, and that is her story, is that she sleeps for 100 years, and obviously in that 100 years all her friends are gonna die. I'm always confused how like she can survive it. Like, if you're sleeping, aren't you still aging? But I guess that's like the curse, is that you don't. Yeah, and they're all gonna die, and she's gonna wake up and they're all gonna be gone, and that's, I think, one of the main reasons that she does not want to be the next Sleeping Beauty, which is kind of devastating. Like, that's your like fate. And they're like, oh yeah, but you're like a princess, so it's okay. You should be happy with your destiny. No, you're gonna outlive everyone. Anyways, Ramona is a coping mechanism. Okay, this kind of goes with like, there's like theories out there about like Ramona and Cerise. So there's a theory out there. so it's Ramona's coping mechanism for Cerise theory. That actually I'm not 100% sure what the theory, I don't remember the theory to be honest, but there's a theory out there that I don't know about Ramona and Cerise, and I don't really remember it. But nonetheless, I know that it exists, and eventually one day maybe I'll go over theories, because there's definitely a lot of theories like the Apple and Raven theory. Cerise and Ramona, I don't remember the Cerise and Ramona one that well though. I don't want to tell you it until I actually know it. But I feel like it kind of makes sense, especially because they just kind of randomly bring in Ramona, and like randomly, because like you're always like, oh, like is Cerise gonna play both parts, the Bad Wolf and Red Riding Hood, since she's the only kid? And then randomly Ramona's in, and then you're like, oh, there's a new character. That makes sense now. Anyways, Milton and Snow White manipulate Applewhite. It's also true. Milton and Grimm manipulates Applewhite into like trying to convince her to convince Raven to be the evil queen. So like telling her that her story is going to go poof, and just forcing her to kind of be mean to Raven and like, I don't know, get Raven to, you know, do whatever. And then Snow White does the same thing. They're like working in cahoots. I get that they wanted Applewhite to follow her story, but I really hate Milton Grimm, to be honest. And yeah, it's true, they manipulated into like scaring her that she's gonna go poof, which I wonder if they thought, like, did he actually truly believe that they were going to go poof, or not? Shadow High fairy tale characters are, oh, yeah, Shadow High fairy tale characters are living beings. Confused by my own writings because they're grouped together. Shadow High. What is Shadow High relating to Ever After High? I always thought that was crazy that Rainbow High used the term Shadow High when Ever After High had it first. Shadow High, not just Monster High, it's like the school in between. I have the Shadow High book. I never read it. I should read it, but I never did. There's a book out there and it's called Shadow High, and it's the connecting between Monster High and Ever After High. There's supposed to be a movie or something, and you can actually see like the edited, like drawn out version of how it was going to look. I think still on YouTube. I haven't seen it in a really long time, but it connected Monster High and Ever After High, if I'm not mistaken. The disappointing thing about that was that they never brought C.A. Cupid into that. I do know that, or really talked about, which is disappointing. Anyways, and then the other one was that fairy tale characters are living beings. There we go. They were two separate statements. That is true. So, well, according to Ever After High, that you read a fairy tale book and those characters are real. They live out there. They have their own feelings. Maybe Cinderella wants to marry the huntsman from the Snow White story. Anyways, I always like that concept, to like think that like the things that you're reading is like real, which would be kind of devastating because there's a lot of really horrific books out there. But nonetheless, I like that concept. But yeah, that's the thought. Next, 3D prototype for the Lost movie. Is that what it's called? The Lost movie? I think that's the Shadow High. Am I wrong? I could be wrong. I believe both of them, well, the Shadow High book has both Ever After High and Monster High. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be the same thing. Again, I never read the book, but they're both the same thing. They're like, they're the cross over between Ever After High and Monster High. Again, you can see they call it 3D prototype. It's like drawings, right? They're just like drawings. Anyways, it's good. It's interesting. I wish that they had actually done it. I wish that they hadn't canceled Ever After High before they did that, or that would have been like their last. Like, I wish that they had actually made it, because Monster High continued to go after Ever After High was canceled. So they could have just continued, like, make it like the last, like cancel Ever After High and then been like, oh wait, we're gonna just finish out here, you know what I mean? But they didn't, and that disappointed me. I wonder why they just decided not to. Duchess will die at the end of her story. I've never seen Swan Lake. But I assume that is how it ends. If I'm not mistaken, there's like the black swan and the white swan, is that correct? Something like that. And there's a theory out there that Duchess is actually the evil one. Is that the black swan? Just because whatever. And not the white swan. Who do both of them die? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. And there's never even brought up that there's like another one at the school. That always confused me about Ever After High, because you'd be like, well, you know, there's supposed to be like other characters in these stories. Like we never saw any of the dwarves, 7 dwarves, which in theory I guess they're supposed to be a bit older, aren't they? So maybe they wouldn't be in school. I guess we saw, we saw the Cinderella's stepsisters eventually, and we obviously got Feyre, Good Fairy for the whatnot. I'm trying to think, like, I'm thinking of Duchess Swan, like we never saw the other swan. Who else are we missing? I'm trying to think of other stories, but I really can't. But that always confused me until like they started moving in. Like obviously we never saw Cinderella's or Ashley and Ella's, the stepsisters, until later bits. But that always like I was always like, who is gonna be the other people? Like, don't they need other people in their story? Anyways, I have never seen Swan Lake, so I cannot confirm it, but I assume that is correct, that she dies at the end of her story, which is sad because she is a royal. Like, she does want to take on her story, and it isn't until the one book, Next Top Villain, amazing book, by the way, you should read it. It's one of my absolute favorite, I think it is my favorite Ever After High book, just because it made me like fall in love with Duchess's character so much. She's definitely one of my favorite characters. But she obviously like kind of goes after Raven's story in that book. But for the most part, she's royal and she wants to take on her destiny, unless she is actually the Black Swan, which I don't know who survives. Like, I don't know if one of them, maybe they both die. I don't know. But yes, interesting. Kind of sad to think about that though. Next. The Evil Queen took over the Dark Fairy's role. That is true. I recently saw, sorry, this just made me think of it. I recently saw something about somebody asking why, maybe it was about Ever After High. It was something about like the Dark Fairy and Maleficent, like Ever After High, like Fabel's actually the child of Maleficent, but yeah, Fable's the child of Maleficent, but Ever After High couldn't call it that because of copyright. And I was like, I think Maleficent is Disney's term. Sorry, it brought that up and I have to talk about it. Just like Michelle Mermaid is the child of the Little Mermaid, not Ariel. I don't think she has a name in the thing, in the actual thing, because they call them the Sea Witch and the Little Mermaid, which is why I got the title. Like Disney created their own names for the characters so you could like be connected, as far as I'm aware. I don't think that they had those names. So contrary to popular belief, Fabel Thorne is the child of the Dark Fairy, not Maleficent, because Ever After High is based off of the Brother Grimm stories where the Dark Fairy is referenced as the Dark Fairy. Fun fact, when I was like, I love fairy tale stories. I am like very interested in like anytime I find like a fairy tale book, like I love them so much. I read not all of them, but a few of the Whatever After stories. I read Ever After High. I read the most amazing books ever that you should read, written by Chris Colfer. Oh my god, what's it called? I keep thinking of Storybook of Legends, and that is obviously Ever After High. Land of Stories, there we go. I literally worshipped those books for the longest time. I was waiting for each release to practically happen. But I started to read the Brother Grimm stories and I never finished. And I should one day reread them. Maybe we'll do it here because they are quite interesting. Honestly, the stories aren't super long. Like some of them are like 30 pages, but it's like the whole like Brother Grimm's thing. I just never read them because it was a lot. And you know, libraries, they make me anxious. I have a deadline, and it just reminded me of school, and I'd be like, I can't finish this book, and then I wouldn't even try. So maybe I just purchase it. I should do that. Anyways, I love fairy tale books, and that just reminded me of that. But back to the Feyblethorn. It's so funny. I was like reading that, I'm like, I mean, I haven't read the OG book, so maybe that is her name, but I'm pretty sure that she is just referenced as the Dark Fairy in the Brother Grimm story. I don't think she has a name. Sorry, that was a side note. Kind of like other things, I kind of wish that Ever After High was more of like rated higher up. Nope. Rated, I don't know, more talked about the kind of horrendous things that these people, because like you're like watching like Ashley and Ella and you're like, oh my god, she's so nice, and yet if she is following the Brother Grimm stories, she's gonna make her stepsisters, mind you, they probably deserve it, like cut off their feet and stuff. Don't they dance on like ash or something at the end? I don't remember. But like she's gonna like watch that. I think she makes them dance on something, burn their feet off. I don't remember. Again, I think I read the Cinderella one, but I don't remember all of it. Anyways, and you're like watching all these people, but like some of the stories are horrendous. Horrendous. Ashley and Ella's gonna have, isn't it 10 children when she's sleeping? And they're not talking about that? Briar's like, I don't want to lose all my friends. No, you don't want to fall asleep. Don't touch that spindle. You're gonna wake up and have 10 children. Is it 10? I think so. It might be more. I don't remember. Because doesn't her like mom have like 10 boys or something? She's got like a bunch of little brothers. Technically, they should all be older. Anyways, if they're following the story correct, I guess she could have had a kid before. Anyways, just saying. Sorry. Side note, back on track. Okay. Milton wants the characters to follow their destinies to keep the royals in power. That's an interesting one, and I do 100% agree. So we all know that Milton is the royal. He's a royal, and then I assume Giles, is his name Giles? I don't remember. Grimm is the rebel, okay? As far as I'm aware, that's how the story goes. And Milton likes the royals, so he treats them better and punishes the rebels way more, is more strict on them. And so kind of makes sense. Especially because okay, hear me out. Let's just say that you don't go poof at the end of your story. There is no poof, you survive, you live. Then probably no one would follow their stories. But if Milton is like, you have to follow your stories, so he convinces all of the royals, you're gonna go poof if you don't follow your story. And then obviously these people go on to be the royal families and be very powerful. They'll stay in power versus like rebels being like, we're not gonna follow our stories, and then rebels taking over, because a lot of the rebels are probably villains, which, hear me out, doesn't that not make any sense that a lot of the rebels are villains? Which, what was Raven's mom? Was she a royal or was she a rebel? Because didn't she room, I don't remember who she roomed with. I don't remember. However, like, Faybelle is a villain and she's a royal, so maybe she just wants to take over. But I always think that that's an interesting one and probably true. I wonder where like the idea that you go poof, because if you haven't seen the ending of Ever After High, they don't go poof. But yeah, my thoughts. Anyways, the last one on here says hierarchy in Ever After High. I assume hierarchy is referring to there are like royal families and they have more power. So like the Charming family has a lot of power. There's a lot of Charming families out there though. Applewhite, like her being the iconic Snow White, future Snow White, like she has a lot of power versus like the casual people. I mean, there's a lot of people that work at the school and stuff, or the like story, nope, what's that called? I keep calling it story, wanting to think of like Storybook of Legends. The little city, the little townsfolk, those are clearly supposed to be peasants. So there's definitely some sort of like hierarchy here at Ever After High. So yeah. Anyways, that is all that I have for layer 4. We'll move on to more layers eventually, hopefully, possibly. Anyways, I'm back. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I was wrong on any of these. Let me know your thoughts on them. Also, if you have any theories about Ever After High, just random theories, because I love reading random theories, kind of like the Apple and Raven theory of like the switched at birth. Obviously Holly and Poppy actually had that. But anyways, I'm back. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.